Hello. S.H. Hooke was Professor Emeritus at the University of London when he published this book in 1962, Babylonian and Assyrian Religion. He had been Professor of Old Testament at the University of London and had graduated from Oxford in his training. He was one of the most respected Semitic scholars in the world a generation or two ago. I thought it would be interesting to look at his analysis of the nature of Babylonian and Assyrian religion. He begins his book this way in the preface: apart from its own intrinsic interest, the study of religion of the Babylonians and Assyrians has an added importance because of the great influence which the civilization and religion of those dwellers on the Tigris-Euphrates Valley had on religion and life of Israel. It is not an exaggeration to say that some knowledge of Babylonian religion is indispensable for a proper understanding of the development of Hebrew religion. Now, as to the nature of the religion of the Babylonian Assyrians, in his introduction, Hooke says this: this brief summary of the relation between Assyrian and Babylonian religion is given here in the introduction to this book to explain why it is not possible to present Assyrian religion in a separate treatment. Broadly speaking, Babylonian religion, built on the foundation laid by the Sumerians, that is the race, people that are rather mysterious still, but were discovered in the late 19th century by archaeology. This race that preceded the Semites, apparently, in the region of Babylonia. This religion, which descended to the Babylonians and to the Assyrians, was a magical religious system based on the fear of evil spirits and other incalculable elements in the social environment. So there is Hooke's summary of the significance of religion to the Babylonians, Assyrians, and Sumerians before them. Virtually all the religions of the place where biblical religion got its start, religion of fear. Later in the book, toward the end, he goes more deeply into this. Hooke notes the contrast between biblical religion and Babylonian religion in several significant areas, and here's the one he stresses about the importance of religion in daily life. It was extremely important to Babylonians and Assyrians to have the spirits on your side, the gods, because of course all these systems, all of these religions of the ancient Near East were polytheistic. He says, what we have already seen in the rituals and myths of Babylon and Assyria has shown that from birth to death, the life of the Babylonian or Assyrian citizen was enfolded and directed by religious conceptions and practices. It is obvious that the great festivals would affect the lives of ordinary individuals as occasion for public rejoicing and feasting. But it is necessary, in order to make the picture of Babylonian and Assyrian religion complete, to give some account of how the religion affected the more intimate aspects of daily life. One of the most important factors in the daily life of a Babylonian was the fear of devils and evil spirits, and to a lesser degree the fear of offended gods. In the ritual texts, such as the collections of incantations called Maglu and Shurpu, and in many of the mythological texts, we find many of the demons mentioned by name. Most of the names are Sumerian, though some are Semitic, and it is probable that the Semitic settlers adopted the Sumerian demonology together with the general pattern of their culture and religion. Especially feared were the spirits of the dead, who had not yet had the due burial rites performed over them, or had died under ill-omened circumstances. Many of the demons were supposed to be the offspring of Anu and Enlil, the two of the triad of high gods who were on the whole unfriendly to men, while many more were the offspring of the underworld gods. On the other hand, the third of the great triad, Ea, that's spelled E-A, was always friendly to men and was regarded as the source of the protective arts of magic and incantation upon which the mortals depended for defense against the assaults of all the hostile supernatural powers. Hence also, Ea was the patron god of the various orders of priests who had been trained in the practice of exorcism. in the knowledge of spells and incantations, and in the interpretation of dreams and omens. These were the people to whom the Babylonian turned for help in any kind of trouble or perplexity. So the solution to the fear of demons, and interestingly enough, behind the demons, the supreme gods, and 3 of those gods were a triad, and the one on the friendly side toward the Babylonians and Assyrians was the god Ea. How did the Assyrian and the Babylonian cope with this fear? More of that in the next segment.